What's up, you guys? It's Matt here. So a lot of people have asked me about this, the Trades video with Jordan Belfort, the interview, and what are my thoughts on it. And a lot of people obviously feel some type of way to where Trey had to come out with another video. I watched a good portion of it, probably to about maybe 15 minutes. I didn't watch the whole thing. It was 11 o'clock when it did get posted, so I tried to watch some of it as much as I could. But to tell you the truth, when I seen the influx of comments that were coming in when he really started talking about how it will go to zero, that's where I was like, whoa. I mean, I don't know if he meant for, Jordan Belfort to say that. Obviously, he can't control what he's going to say. Who knows who's backing, JB's comments. So I wanted to go into this, but I wanted to preface this by saying that I don't mean anything by this, by showing this on my channel. And also, Trey didn't mean anything by it. He's not saying that he, doesn't support, the apes anymore. He doesn't support us, anymore. Obviously, he's with us. He has, 3,000 some odd shares. I have 2,000 some odd shares. There are a lot of people that have thousands and thousands of shares that really depend on, him for information, some other people for information. And, the thing is that you don't want to copy what everybody else is doing. If you feel as though you want to make profit over everything else, and you make profit over everything else. But what I need to tell you is the fact that he didn't mean anything by it. I know he didn't. You could see that he's still strong. He's still holding. And I don't want anybody attacking, him or attacking my character. I really don't care if people attack my character. You could do whatever you want. But don't attack, other people, because it's not good. It's not good for the overall situation. He's the person that's bringing the most information to anybody, working as hard as possible to get all of this stuff out. So if he's doing this, know that he still supports the cause. Know that he still wants to continue to grow this position. I 100% support him where he is. And the reason why he continued to upload that video is to show a different perspective. And I have some opinions. I talked about different things and understanding certain areas. I got some backlash on my last video, people thinking that I'm spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I'm not spreading FUD to, everyone. I'm not doing that. I'm here to let people know what could inevitably happen, what we need to prepare for, what we could possibly prepare for, and what could be the positive outcomes versus the negative outcomes. I want to let people know everything. So let me end this intro right here. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you are interested in my content. But yeah, I mainly do reaction videos on my other channel, so we'll see how this does over here. But I just wanted to address this. So let's go ahead and address it.
On the verge of bankruptcy. I mean, with GameStop failing at the brick and mortar locations, everything going e-commerce at this point, it definitely makes sense to raise that capital and kind of rebrand themselves in that way. So with that being said, them diluting the shares down and trying to raise capital so they can continue to exist, to thrive, to potentially grow down the road. What do you see happening over the next 6 months to a year? Do you think there's people that are going to walk out the other end of this getting pretty burned? Do you think that there's actually potential with all this stuff going on? People are pretty well expecting a second squeeze like we saw the first time. And I'd be curious to know if you think there's a chance of that happening again.
I don't think that happens again. I think I predicted the second squeeze. I predicted when it fell back down, I said it was going to happen. I was exactly right. The stock really got clobbered. I said, everyone's like, it's over. So I said, no, it's not over. Although it was really not less of a short squeeze, more of like a gamma squeeze with options, like people buying the options. Then people who issue the options want to make them, they issuing calls. They want to make them covered calls. So they buy the underlying stock to reduce their exposure. So that drives up the underlying stock, right? That's what drives it up. If people buy enough options, it'll drive up the price of the stock. If someone's got to sell them the options, the people that sell the options don't want unlimited exposure, so they go buy the stock and create a spread, and they get called a covered call, right? That's who writes the institutions write these instruments, and typically the people that make money in options are the ones that write options, not the ones that buy options. That's an old law on Wall Street. Listen, I think there's a big misconception here about. First of all, I'm on the side. I love that the average person's making money. I don't want to think for a second that I'm against. I think it's great. What I'm saying is, it just doesn't make any sense. And there is no way anyone's going to ever justify to me that this is rational and it's sustainable. I don't think it's sustainable. At some point, what's going to happen is right now, I don't think you realize you're young. How old are you?
23 years old. Very young.
23. I have pants older than you, and I'm not even kidding. I have clothes in my closet older than you, right? So I'm just telling you, when a bear market hits, all of this stuff goes out the window. There is no more stocks that we like and story stocks. The stocks that don't have fundamentals, they go to freaking zero. Like they go down, like they go drop like faster than you could ever imagine. Everything does. A rising tide lifts all ships, and a falling tide sinks all ships. Now, what you end up having in really bad bear markets, and it will come, and it's coming. It's going to come. Maybe tomorrow, maybe in 3 years, but it's coming. Okay. And when it comes, this is not going to last. It can't. It will not. It will, whatever the actual value is, it'll probably drop there and below because everything trades below its value in a bear market. That's what a bear market is about, right? So, and what's going to trigger the bear market? Who knows? You know, it could be a black swan event where something happens, or it could just be, you know, interest rates start going up. I doubt that's going to happen so quick though, because the government can't afford for it to happen. But you can't, like you guys are. I want to be very clear here to everyone that's listening. If you have a young viewership, you guys are operating under this very, very dangerous assumption that a bull market lasts forever, and it doesn't. And there's a completely different set of rules that apply to a neutral or bear market. All you've seen in all your time investing is a raging bull market, and everyone looks really smart in a bull market. People look very, very foolish in a bear market, and they look just as foolish in a stable, like even in a stable market, right. Everyone looks kind of foolish because it's really hard to beat the market. It just really is. Like, no offense to anyone. It's a very difficult thing. You know what I'm saying? Like Warren Buffett, if he makes 12%, he's a genius, the guy, in the real world. So it's like these ideas of making these extraordinary returns, they don't exist in the real world. We're all being part of this incredible combination of a bull market that's fed by the government dumping massive amounts of capital into the economy and banks lending absurd amounts of money. It's all the same thing that happened in 1999, 2007. It's the same cycle repeating itself again that never really fully cleansed out of the system. I'm not a doom and gloom guy. I'm not saying it's happening tomorrow.
Right. No, I totally
like,
get
this could
you.
go on. It could go on for 3 to 5 more years. I don't know. And right. I think everyone should make as much money as they fucking can until that point.
All right. So just to get an understanding of this, he basically goes on to say, you know that it's, not going to happen tomorrow, basically like what he just said, but still spreading, like, I guess, misinformation if people think of it a certain way. So let me just break this down a little bit and not really do anything like crazy. I'm not going to break it down like crazy. So what he talked about was, he actually said, like, because what Trey talked about was predicting the second squeeze and saying, is there going to be a second squeeze? He said, I already predicted the second squeeze. Like, this was already a squeeze that came up to $14. That wasn't a squeeze. That was just a mere push. Nothing we had was a squeeze. Yes, we did see GME push up to $500, but that was probably the most squeeze that you could possibly get out of that. AMC did not have a squeeze yet. It didn't. We can all agree that it did not have any type of squeeze yet. It went up to like $25 or something, $28. I don't know how much it actually went up to. It went up to $20+, not $100, not $200. That's not a squeeze. That is not a squeeze at all. At most, or at least, it should have went up to $200, from $2 to $200, or from $1.90 to $190. That should have been a squeeze. But this is what I'm taking from it. It makes no sense to me whatsoever, what they're saying. But this fucking thing, this camera now is going to be ridiculous. All right, I'm going to cut this camera off, and we're going to go ahead and go to a different camera. We're going to see how this plays out. But yeah, you know what? Let's go to this one. Hopefully this does pan out the right way. So I'm gonna have to show it on this screen because my Sony camera decided to die for some reason. It's not a piece of crap, but I've been recording with it. But still, that's basically what I wanted to talk about. Him saying he predicted the second squeeze. Second squeeze didn't happen. Saying it's going to zero, it's not going to go to zero. And for somebody that can sell a pen to anybody, he's not really selling this to anyone that he actually is supporting, people that support AMC or GME or any of the heavily shorted positions, right? So he's saying that it's going to zero. That's not going to happen. It's not going to go to zero zero, with all of the positives that they are doing, and understanding that eventually they will end up adding more shares on. And I understand the reason why they would do it, but right now it's not the right time to do it. With the hedge funds continuing to, push our buttons, it makes no sense to do that. Also, he's saying that it's unsustainable. I would agree that it is unsustainable. If we look at the overall situation, can we picture this happening or staying the same? GME staying at $200 for 5 years? No, I don't see that, because the company isn't valued up to that point. Now they should be taking over the industry, but they're not really at the moment. So we'll see how that does play out, but it's not sustainable. But for the time being, we can definitely see some movement here, and a definite squeeze if the hedge funds decide to cover their short positions. And he talked about the fact that young people are basically like gambling at the moment. And it's true. The market doesn't ever, is not necessarily the way that it is. We never really see it push up this much. We do see a lot of positions, heavy gainers at times, and we see heavy losers. But even in a bear market, you're still going to be able to see the movement from up to down. You just have to be able to predict the lows as it's stair-stepping on the way down. It's a little bit tougher. So he's actually right on that aspect. But when he quoted, he said that Warren Buffett, if he makes 12%, it's a good day. Obviously, Warren Buffett plays for the long term, not really the short term. He plays for that longer or that higher percentage or that lower percentage with a higher amount of money. If he has billions of dollars put into, certain funds, that's more than us investing tens of thousands of dollars. So obviously him making 12% is way more than what we would make at 100%. So we need to be able to make, 20, 30% at times. And yes, it is tough to be able to do that in a neutral or bear market. I understand that 100%, but I don't think we're at that point yet. We don't need to focus on that yet. What we need to focus on is the fact that these positions are still out there and still heavily growing. We're not seeing the bullish market that we have seen in the past couple of weeks. It's starting to become bearish, so hopefully we could see something on the uptick. But my overall opinion of this interview is that obviously Trey didn't mean anything by bringing him on. He really just wanted to understand where his head is. And it's great to understand where everybody's head is. You don't need to bash people and, start saying that, he's spreading FUD, which I guess maybe he is, but Trey isn't. You can't really say that he's spreading FUD or he's not an ape anymore. He's not supporting the cause, and people that are paper hands. Like, I don't understand all of these people that are starting to, come at people that may be taking profits. If someone took a $5,000 profit, it doesn't make sense to me why you would call them paper hands if they took a $5,000 profit on money that they could not afford to have in there. So in my opinion, I think it's absolutely ridiculous the way people are attacking other people. But my overall opinion of the interview, it's an interview. That's all it is. And obviously Trey has said, that he supports AMC as much as possible. He still has 3,000 some odd shares. I still have 2,000 some odd shares. So people that come at me and say that I'm spreading FUD in any way, I'm not. So that's my opinion of the interview. Hopefully you like that opinion. But yeah, I think it was a good interview. I think that Trey probably could have fought back a little bit more, but creating those connections are better than anything. And I understand that he has a different mindset, a different thought with the AMC process, but he might have the same thought when it comes to something bigger. So, it's all about creating that connection in the industry. And it's also about, obviously correcting any information and being respectful at the time. He doesn't have to, Jordan Belfort doesn't have to come out and talk to, Trey's Trades or talk to anybody else if he doesn't want to. You know what I mean? But he decided to do that, and to be respectful, I 100% am with Trey on that. So I seen his response video. I seen his this video, not the whole entire thing. So I might be not saying everything that happened, but 15 minutes is kind of enough to get the understanding, especially with all of the comments that were coming through. So make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Also, hit the bell notification if you are interested in, joining my channel, watching any of the videos, getting updates on those videos. But yeah, like I said, make sure you hit that like button. If you want to join the Discord group, the link is in the description. If you want to join my MP Shorts channel, please do so. I don't normally do reaction videos over here, but I felt that I needed to, say something here because everybody kept asking. And then if anybody does ask, I can always point out this video. And this doesn't necessarily say everything about the overall situation, but I tried to give, my best reaction to this video, and hopefully it comes across well. And I don't know how everybody else is going to take it. So we'll see how people take it. But I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.